Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, nice to meet you. I'm Bidgen if you are new. Recently, I had asked some of my followers if they could ask me anything about anything really, whether that's autism and ADHD, IVF, anything absolutely that they wanted to ask away. And so I'm going to be making some videos based off of those questions. And I got one that I want to start with because it really hits home on a lot of the things that I talk about on here and a lot of the things that I talk about in general. So I'm going to kind of answer it as I'm reading it. And this person said, well, how do you deal with it? I've been diagnosed with ADHD, seeking autism assessment. And all the while, I'm wondering, am I just dramatic or full of SHIT? I often feel tired of myself, like I am watching myself sometimes when I think of things I've done. How do you deal with the intense feelings of, well, being intense? So, how do I deal with it? I want to start there. Dealing with having autism and ADHD simultaneously is not something that you just deal with. It's something that you have to kind of figure out, in my opinion. And for me, I've always known I was ADHD. I've known it since I was like 6 years old. I got a very early diagnosis for that. So I've always known I had ADHD. So that was easier to kind of manage, I guess you could say, because I've been learning tricks for ADHD for most of my life at this point. The autism part, I'm still figuring out. It's very new for me. I've only known that I have autism for probably about 4 months now. And for me, I take every single day as trying to figure out how to manage the two systems that are completely against each other while having both of them inside of me. So, of course, we all know the generic autism craves routine, ADHD loves spontaneous and do things like on the whim. And so I try to find the happy medium there. So I love routine. I do. Can I stick to routines? Absolutely not, unless it's something that is hardcore in my everyday routine. But if I tried to tell you that I have a routine where I wake up at the same time every day, I do not. I wish I did, but I do not. And so for me, it's learning where can I compromise. So I might not get up at the same time every single day, but I do start my day off the exact same way. I have a very rigid routine for how I start my day. If that routine is messed up, then both of my systems, ADHD and autism, are completely thrown off guard. And it kind of ruins my whole day. So it's more learning to find compromise between two things that are the polar opposites of each other. I don't know if it's necessarily dealing with it. I'm finding ways to manage them and to accept them and to find compromise between the two. But I don't know that I deal with it because dealing with it makes it sound like it's a problem. But honestly, I love that I'm autistic and that I have ADHD. It is very chaotic, but I enjoy who I am as a person. And as much as it stinks sometimes, I do like how my brain works. I have a very deep sense of the way that I see the world, the way that I feel things, the way that I see others. I wouldn't take that away for anything. I don't know what it's like to be neurotypical, but I know that being neurodivergent is something that I actually enjoy about myself. And I enjoy the people who are a part of the community as well. I feel so seen by the community that I'm building. And it's something that I've never felt before. And it's so beautiful to me just to be able to see the insides of other people's minds and know that I'm not by myself. This person then goes on, and I'm going to continue their comment. They say, I honestly wish I could just switch my brain off and be normal, not feel so much, not be so sensitive, understand people better, not have to analyze absolutely everything to feel like I can cope. I understand that. Sometimes I do wish I could turn my brain off. Sometimes it is a lot. On the good days, it's good. And on the bad days, sometimes I do wish there was an off switch to where I didn't have to analyze everyone else's feelings, everyone else's energies, everyone else's everything else, basically, because there is no room for me when I'm doing that. However, there is balance to it. And I guess that's creating boundaries for yourself. And that's creating boundaries on what you do for other people and how far you extend yourself. And I can tell you that if you're surrounded by a lot of people every single day, alone time is critical for you and your brain because it lets you just feel yourself. It lets you be alone in your own thoughts, and you only have to feel and analyze you, which I understand is also sometimes not fun, but it's better than analyzing 20 people in a room with you. They then ask me, do I feel self doubt? And if so, does it ever go away? Do you ever feel like you fit in? I do feel self doubt, and it goes away sometimes. I think self doubt is something that actually anybody deals with, neurodivergent or neurotypical. I think that that is something that people deal with all over, no matter where you are, what you're doing, whatever is going on with your brain. I think everyone has self doubt. I think that for somebody, they need to find happiness in themselves and work on things that they have self-doubt about. So like for me, I have self-doubt that sometimes I'm a good partner or I'm going to be a good mother. And for me, I have to really sit down and say, where's the proof? Put yourself on trial. Act like there is a jury, show the facts, and act like you're the judge at the end. Are those things true? Is there any proof that I would be a bad mother? Is there any proof that I'm a bad partner? If you get to the end and the jury says no, you're anxious, you're ruminating, you're doing something to have those thoughts. And they're not coming from a bad place, but you have to be able to manage them and figure it out. Something I learned in therapy was putting myself on trial. And that sounds crazy, but it actually works. If I don't have proof to say, I'm a bad partner, I'm going to be a bad mother, I'm this, I'm that, and have those self doubt worries and everything creep in on me, if you try to come back at your brain with proof and there is none, it'll stop eventually. I'm not saying it'll work every time, but it does sometimes help when you try to find proof and there's no proof. Last thing they say is, do you ever feel like you fit in? Feel like you don't have to work so hard to just maintain normalcy or some version of it? Do I ever feel like I fit in? Honestly, yes and no. Online, in my community that I have built on my social media platforms, I do feel like I fit in. In my everyday life, I feel like an alien. In my job, with my family, with relationships, anybody outside of my online community and my partner, I feel like a complete alien. Something I'm trying to teach myself, though, about the working hard to feel normalcy or to be normal around other people is I have come to learn that if people can't accept me for who I am and who I present to be, those are not my people. And that is really hard to actually wrap your head around. I do understand that. Obviously, we all want to be liked. But at the end of the day, if it is hurting me more to try to fit into a world that was not built for me, then I don't want it. I will find my people somewhere, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's through groups, whatever it might be, you will find your people. I'm not saying it will be easy, but your people exist out there to where you do not have to feel like you have to be somebody else for them to like you. And when you find those people, stick with them. Those are your true people in life. Anybody that will not make you question if you're acting normal, anybody that makes you feel safe, anybody that accepts you and all of your quirks or weirdness or whatever you want to call it and just loves you really at the end of the day, because those are the people that will always have your back and that will accept you no matter what you throw their way. Those are going to be your people where you don't have to fight so hard to feel normal. Whatever normal means these days, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest, because at this point, I stopped caring a long time ago because it's too much brain power. It's too much work. We don't deserve to be putting ourselves in situations where we have to work so hard to be accepted to, at the end of the day, not even feel accepted. Because I can tell you, when I put on a show to try to feel normal for people, it works for the time being while I'm in that moment. And then later I reflect and I don't like how I was acting. I don't like who I was in that moment. And I quickly realize those people will never like me for the true person that I am. And if that's the case, I don't want them in my life. It is not worth the stress. It's not worth the anxiety. It's not worth the overthinking and the brain power that we have to put into it. I don't know if I answered your question the way that you wanted me to, or actually answered your question. I really hope I did. But if there's something I didn't answer and you want me to go even further, please let me know. If my thoughts didn't make sense, I really apologize. Sometimes it's like that for me, and I kind of go on tangents and ramble about things. As always, guys, thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you so much for your questions. I'm working on getting to all of them, and I hope that you guys have the best day ever, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.